In late 1780, General George Washington of the Colonial Army sent one of his most trusted officers, General Nathaniel Greene, to distract the British Army in the South, drawing them on a wild chase through the colonies. During the chase, Nathaniel Greene said,
"We fight, get beat, rise, and fight again."
This chase through the colonies lasted until early in 1781, when General Cornwallis of the British Army became tired of chasing General Greene and his army and decided to settle his army in the port city of Yorktown.
Right before the chase of General Greene's army ended, General Cornwallis said he was
Quite tired of marching through the country.
The fact that the British Army and General Cornwallis grew tired after only a couple months of winning and called off the chase proved that the British Army was not as motivated as the Colonial Army to win this war and fight hard till the very end.
In April of 1781, French Admiral de Grasse sent word to General George Washington that a fleet of 29 ships and an army of 3,000 soldiers would arrive in mid-October. Washington canceled his plan to attack General Clinton's army in New York. To prevent General Clinton from growing suspicious, Washington had his troops build fake forts to make it seem like his army was still going to attack the British forces, while he really marched his army 400 miles south to surround the port city of Yorktown, where Cornwallis and his army were waiting for supplies to arrive.
Finally, on October 6, 1781, Washington and his army of 16,000 French and colonial troops surrounded the 8,000 British soldiers stationed in Yorktown. Cornwallis begged General Clinton for more troops, but Clinton hesitated.
While the French and colonial troops were besieging the British on land, the British naval fleet battled the British fleet in Chesapeake Bay. The French fleet won, blockading Yorktown, which prevented the British soldiers from making any escape by sea.
When the siege had finally ended, the battle had left over 600 dead and 200 wounded. The siege had lasted 3 weeks and ended on October 19, 1781, when General Cornwallis surrendered to George Washington. Because Clinton hesitated, his troops showed up 5 days after Cornwallis had surrendered.
During the surrendering ceremony, Cornwallis was so embarrassed that he lost, he gave the sword to his second in command and ordered him to give the sword to French General Rochambeau. Rochambeau told him to give the sword to General Washington, and Washington told Cornwallis' second in command to give the sword to Washington's second in command, who finally accepted the sword. After the British surrender, the colonial troops cheered so loud that General Washington called to his troops,
"Let history huzzah for you."
To silence his troops while the British drummers played the tune "The World Turned Upside Down," meaning that a major upset had happened. The battle turned out to be a pivotal point in the American War for Independence.